If you want to check out the whole show, hit the link here at the bottom of the screen, available exclusively on odds.com. But most importantly, get paid in full. We move on to Christmas Day action, December 25th, 2:30 p.m. Eastern, Camellia Bowl. Marshall Thundering Herd, 7-2 on the season versus Buffalo Bulls, 5-1 on the season. Cramton Bowl, Montgomery, Alabama. Oh, sorry, I'm on money line. Let me just move over to point spread. So my thinking after studying this game was that we didn't get a chance to see enough of Buffalo against strong competition. We saw them beat up on bad teams, but we didn't see them against weak teams. And they didn't look good against Ball State. I still can't believe that I didn't hit that. You know, to be honest, that was when my insomnia set in. So I'm like, day 3 or 4 into it. It was that game not hitting the over when it was 30. What was it? 35 or 30. They had 56 points at the break, at the half, and they scored 10 more points. And I got the line early with you guys on Monday at 66.5. I went up 69. But when they didn't get to the over, then I lost my mind somehow. This opened with Buffalo at -3. It's now at -3.5. We'll start with Marshall. After opening the season with 7 straight wins, Marshall's now lost back-to-back games with clear issues on offense. They were shut out 20-0 at home to Rice to finish the regular season, then lost 22-13 at home to UAB in the Conference USA Championship game. Their offense still put up 30.6 points per game and put up 407.1 yards per game. But Grant Wells, who looked better and better as the season went on, looked really bad in those 2 losses. So he was 18 of 35 for 165 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions against Rice. Clearly thought about the interceptions nonstop. And then he just didn't feel comfortable taking risks. He went 8 of 23 against UAB for 138 yards, 0 interceptions, and 2 touchdowns. But 8 of 23 for 138 yards, not going to cut it. He completed 60.8% of his passes for 1,977 yards, 8 touchdowns, 9 interceptions on the season. Now they have some issues in front of them. Their best offensive lineman, Josh Ball, opted out for this game. He's going to focus on the draft. So the man his key protector won't be there. Their defense was excellent all year long, allowing just 12.6 points per game and 277.7 yards per game. They also took a blow with their best defender, Tavonte Beckett, who had 90 tackles, made the decision to sit out the postseason to prepare for the NFL draft. So you take off their best lineman and you take out their best tackler, and now they're playing Buffalo. Buffalo dominated their opposition all year until they ran into Ball State in the conference championship, lost 38-28 as 13-point favorites. That was it. The score was 35-21 at the halftime. Their offense was dynamic all year long, scoring an average of 47.8 points, gaining 508.7 yards. And then here's another issue. They're led by Jared Patterson, who ran for 141 carries, 1,072 yards, 19 touchdowns, but he hurt his knee. It's projected that he will be active, but he's dealing with the knee injury here. Their defense allows 379.2 yards and 23.8 points per game. So we have moving parts that are tricky to calculate. We'll start with John Ryan, who believed in the Bulls all season long, but didn't bet them when they fell apart to Ball State. At least I believe. I remember trying to remember the contest, but I don't believe you had them. You passed. What do you think of them here in the Camellia Bowl?
On a side note, I just wanted everybody to know that Cincinnati is beating Pittsburgh 10-0 with 9 minutes to go in the second quarter. So if you like Pittsburgh, this is the time to do that live bet.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just thought I'd get off the rails a little bit.
Sure.
So in this game, Patterson was out. They only gained 130 yards, 134. But I do have a really killer system here. This is one of the ones that I don't tell anybody about, and it's 1 in 18 against the spread, and it's a bowl game system. So you're gonna play in a bowl game with a team that lost their conference championship by 8 or more points, and with the bowl game taking place in the month of December, so it's not any of the championship or necessarily the the college football playoff games or the finals. So the month of December, they are a favorite. They lost their conference championship game by more than 8 points. Those teams are 1-18 to the number, and that works against Buffalo. And you can put me down for Marshall. But this is a perfect case study. What we talked about all year with Buffalo was the rising star. It was Apple computer stock going up and up and up and up. And then all of a sudden, I guess it was the week before Ball State, they were just so overbought and it just was extended too much. Doesn't mean that they couldn't have covered, but they were just getting, too many people on the bandwagon. And, the public was all over them in that championship game, too. And once again, what is the percentage, Jimmy, if you can see it? Last I saw this morning, it was 74% was on Buffalo, which to me is nuts. Marshall is played a schedule that's 22, so not all that good. But guess Buffalo's is lower. It's 18. Buffalo is the lowest, has the easiest schedule of any team we've talked about tonight. And Houston actually had the highest, but you can throw it out the window because they only played 4 games. But now you're down in the teens, and then when we start talking about the Notre Dames of the world, we're going to be in the upper 40s. So it's a completely different world. So I think this is a step up in competition to play Marshall, and it's not going to go well.
I agree, but hearing that their best tackle and best linebacker out of the lineup.
You think Patterson's going to play though?
You're right. That's a huge question mark. And if he does play, is he going to be 100%? No, he's not going to be 100%. No, you're right. That's a good.
I think that's the X factor in the game.
All right, let's move on to the big ragu here. Big ragu. Marshall Thundering Herd, Buffalo Bulls, Montgomery, Alabama, Christmas Day.
You think you got a couple anomalies in both of these teams the way they finish up the season? Not so. I don't think so for Buffalo. I think more for Marshall, especially after that big loss that they took against Rice, the week before last. But I don't know. I tend. That's definitely a big concern, for Patterson. And then on the other side, what Jimmy was saying, with the defensive issues they're going to have there. But I don't know. Buffalo defensively in the MAC was supposed to be the MAC daddy, right? And then go up against another defensive team here. So my initial lean was I figured both teams would try to right the ship as far as offensively for Marshall and defensively for Buffalo. But if Buffalo's missing, if the Marshall's missing their defensive stars and they're missing their offensive star, that's kind of like an offsetting, I wouldn't call it a stalemate, but just basically probably advantage would probably go to Marshall there because I think Marshall would probably try to rectify their offense before they try to clean things up on defense on the other side. So I tend to agree. As much as it pains me to do this, and I'm probably going to look at it going the other way. I'm going to look for a team total in this game, and I'm going to say Marshall over 26 points, or whatever that number is. I got 26 on my book over here, so you can tell me what it is. I think Marshall. I think Marshall. They might. What's the actual number on the game right now?
I got way better than that for you, man. I got 24.5 for Marshall on a legal book, and it's juiced to the under.
Yeah, give me that one.
Marshall over 24.5 for Big Ragu. Very interesting. Marshall over 24.5 at minus 110. Team total for Ragu. Interesting. Let's move on to DJ Big Boss here. Christmas Day action. Marshall Buffalo.
I'm looking for this game right here for Marshall. Okay, Marshall has good defense. That's on this hand, right? But then they have a horrible offense as well. So that adds another one to it. So that's digging deeper in on the under. I want to jump right away and go under on that team total, but I'm gonna let Big Ragu keep the team total, and I'm gonna go full game under in this one.
Big Boss on a full game under. Let's see what I can offer you here. Moving to the totals and odds.com odds page. We get up to 53.5. Under is at minus 108. Let's just see. Yeah, 53.5 at circa 2. Okay. I can give you under 53.5 at minus 108 at DraftKings.
I take it, and I'll just go to say that the freshman quarterback over there at Marshall, right?
Yeah.
You know, this guy I listened to a long time ago said that as freshman athletes go further in the season, it's a lot more difficult for them to toggle travel, sports, and their education all at one time. So around finals time and places up in this time, it gets rough for those fellas right there. So with a freshman quarterback, you see the last two games, he really fell off. But I love that Marshall defense. I think I was almost rooting for Marshall to win the game by interception on defense last week. But this Marshall team offense it just plummeted all of a sudden. I think a team like Buffalo, they play decent defense. They'll do enough to slow them down. But I think that Marshall's defense will come in and slow them down as well. But I think at the end of the day, we stay well under the total.
I want to add something too, Jim.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to take Marshall on the money line too.
Ooh.
They owe me some money from last bowl season. They owe me some money from Rice, so they got to pay me back.
Yeah, you have to think how is it will buff because Van Trees is I almost said bum. I mean that's a little harsh, but
I don't know what kind of entanglement you had with Marshall, Big Rago. Tell us more.
It's vengeance.
FanDuel is giving Ragu plus 138 at FanDuel. Well, I think Marsha. What's wrong with me? I think Marshall stays in the game, and I will take them plus 3.5 at minus 110. Available at circa. That's the same look that John Ryan's on. Very interesting breakdown. I was excited to hear you guys talk about that game. And there you have it. Lock it in.